ChiroSushi fam. We are 38 days away. There's 38 roulette table things. There's a 38 caliber gun, and we're 38 days away from summer camp, where if it wasn't for Fortis payments, we would not have the ability to bring you people like Jay Abraham for 3 hours. That cost us quite a bit of money. We're talking about money today with John from Fortis Payments, but you can still get your tickets at cometosummercamp.com. And when you get there, I want you to connect with John at Fortis and his team, because they are not just a credit card processor. I think that as you've seen, as we've developed and dived in deeper in the relationship, that Fortis is a partner in your success when it comes to helping you generate revenue, save money. Let's talk about that today, dude. I want to dive right in, John, with if I put a gun to your head, and that's very violent, and I apologize, but if I put a gun to your head and said, John, how does Fortis make chiropractors more money? What's the first thing that comes to your head?
I would say efficiency and automation.
Okay.
So I actually have a great example. This happened last week. I'm talking to a doctor, and she was so concerned with like rates and PIN debit, and her last processor had her on a terminal running PIN debit and all this kind of stuff. And she's the opposite of a normal chiro. I told her, I was like, you're an analytical chiro with the numbers and all this. I go, most of them are, more into,
Kinetic.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Feeling and making patients feel better and healing. And not that she's not into those things, but she also has that analytical brain where she wanted to dig into the numbers and PIN debit. And we're talking like 12 basis point differences, which is 0.0012. Like that's the difference that we're talking about of a rate wise to run a PIN debit.
She wouldn't have liked me.
Yeah, exactly. So like we're running through this, so she's got this whole, her last processor, who's in the chiropractic space, has her spun worrying about a terminal and PIN debit and all this kind of stuff. And I went, wait, stop. Let's take a step back. I go, what is our goal here, right? We want to help patients get better. And what are one of the things we want to remove? We want to remove the money mindset or the problem of money from the patient side, right? We don't want them thinking about money when they're coming in to get adjusted.
Right.
We want to, friction from the process of a transaction. So that is really where we come in. I go, you're so worried about saving 13 basis points on a PIN debit transaction. I go, store your patient's card on file. You never have to ask them for it again. I guarantee you we will make up for the $12 in fees that you're concerned with by running one extra patient transaction for a patient. And so it's things like this where we're really trying to shift the mindset of the office and going, no, let's make transactions easier for your patients. That's going to increase your collections.
And that's because we did the full rundown and behind the scenes, and it really opened my eyes, John, that you're a platform as opposed to just a credit card processor. You're a tool. You're a weapon. You're we like to call it, you're a samurai tool that's going to help people slay in everyday office usage. Do you think that the market has, because they don't have that competitive basis, that they are just, that's the problem, that most consumer chiropractors and other business owners are only concerned about rate and they don't see the bigger picture?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Even with big customers, we hear them say, oh, well, I pay my staff salary, so I don't care if it saves time. And we try and break down with them that no. That's not one. You're assuming that you have a staff member that's going to stay with you forever, that never misses anything, that is always working 24/7, where that's what a system like ours is doing, right? Never goes to sleep. It's always running payments. It's always trying to collect it for you.
Your software.
Exactly. It's software. It's doing things in the background. But not only that, we need to look at, and this was something our CEO has talked about a lot of times, is it's efficiencies within your team members and the stress that you're taking off of them. So even within our offices, we're always looking at that. We have a lot of team members, right? So I think we're up to 85 employees now. And so we're always looking at what are things we can take off of their plate, because long-term, that stress I take off of that team member means they'll probably stay longer. They're going to enjoy their job. If we can take away the things that they hate the most, right, or that stresses them out the most about their job, then we can make their life easier and they'll stay longer, because we see the staff turnover within offices, right? Because the hours tend to be weird. It's a high stress job, right? And the staff feels that. So when we can take these stressors off of the staff, they're going to stay longer.
Dude, I just got back from New York. I just moved to Indiana from New York, and that was one of the things I know that my father's practice was dealing with. So, Tim, if you're listening, please reach out to my friend John from Fortis. Brandy, who's the most important asset in his practice right now, would probably love it. They're going through some issues with no-shows, which there's always the pattern, right? We see it in practices. I saw it in my med spa practice. Oh, it seemed like this month we got killed with no-shows, or this month no one wants to pay us, right? Like so. But it's really not pattern. It's just really the average daily broken down into a year. Walk me through, because I positioned this interview today to really talk about making money, saving money. You already hit something else that I love to hit, which is making your life easier. At the end of a year, if someone looked back at their relationship with Fortis, where do you think you saved them the most money, and can you quantify it?
Yeah, so I would say it's a blend of saving money and making money, right? So our space, everyone's priced all over this range. We see ranges everywhere in our spectrum, because the credit card processing world had become, once it was just about a terminal, right? Which is, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. It was all about terminals. And terminals, there's no separation of technology. There's no competitive advantage. So the only competitive advantage people have is price. So every processor was just price reduction.
Hold on. Price. Okay, hold on. Wait, my terminal looks a bit cooler. No. Right, okay. All right, price. I get it.
Yeah, and so that's where they said they were trying to save them money. Oh, sorry, I mean rates on the terminal, right? So the pricing that they were giving them from a processing standpoint, that was their only competitive advantage on a terminal, was price. And so they were giving lower rates. And that was the credit card processing world for 5, 6, 7 years. Then about 7 years ago, really, technology started to come in. That really became the competitive advantage, right? So we stopped looking at price so much and started looking at things like technology and tools. However, I would say 90% of the time, we're still able to save money on the rates. It's very rare that we look at an office, even if they're on a terminal or another system that can run, store cards and run recurring payments, we're still seeing that 90, 95% of the time, we're saving them money on their rates. So that usually is the biggest place that we're seeing. And then on the flip side, what we start to see is the automation behind it. So we see offices and they come to us, and one of the funniest things we see is we save people money on their rates, and then they switch over to our system and they're using a terminal and they go, my bill went up, and they're like, arms crossed, and they're kind of like pissed off. And we look at we always have their prior statement. We look at their prior statement and we look at their statements with us, and we're like, you're collecting $10,000 more a month. Of course, your fees are going to go up. Your fees are tied directly to.
Well, you turned them into better entrepreneurs, John.
So right. And so we look at this.
Now they know everything.
I can't tell you how often this happens, where we're like, your collections went from $25,000 a month to $35,000 a month. Like, yeah, your credit card bill, your fees to Visa, MasterCard are going to go up because you're collecting more credit cards. And so it's this funny thing where we kind of see the two things and we go, yeah, your overall rate is still better than what you had before, and you're collecting more. And so it's this double-sided coin. And we're taking the long approach of, most credit card processing companies just come in and offer a saving. Whether they can save or not, they offer it, and they hope you get in the door, and then whether you stay or not, they're going to hit you with their monthly fees or monthly minimums and hit you with a big cancellation fee.
Yeah.
We're taking what we think is the much harder approach, but the longer approach, which is we're trying to change the chiropractic profession and educate it, right? So we want to be the ethical company in chiropractic, in credit card processing, that goes, we're not just going to hit you with all these fees and hope you stay with us as long as possible and hit you with a cancellation fee. We're going to try and be open, honest, transparent, and give you a better system with no contract, no cancellation fee, knowing that, hey, we think we're the best, put us to the test, right? And with no cancellation fee, what's it hurt? You can leave whenever you want. And so it's just this different approach, and we're trying to re-educate, which is a much longer game than what most people are, which is, hey, I'm hoping to keep a customer for 3 years and collect as many fees from them as possible.
Right. Well, that makes me love you even more, John, because you know I'm all about that LTV, and we come from that same school of thought of like, look, we're going to improve it over time,
Yep.
and really the only thing that comes in our way in those situations is typically distraction, and nobody's perfect. Things happen sometimes.
Yep.
You know, no company, any company that ever tells you they have 100% customer success rate, which is crazy, because there's always perfect storms. I want to thank you guys for helping to bring talent in for us with your partnership and sponsorship and collaboration with Summer Camp. I'm excited about this week because we get to explore deeper with your clients that are using Fortis for their practices. We get to actually talk to a CA that's using it. That I think is going to be killer this week and get their perspective. And then on Wednesday, I believe we're talking about funding. Now, this is really cool because I've heard about this behind the scenes. I'll leave this to who we're talking with Wednesday, but if you could give me a tease, what the heck can you do with funding in your platform, John?
So what we can do is we can provide funding for offices based off of their collections, not their credit score, and there's no collateral required. So this is not a traditional bank loan, right? If you want to go get a traditional bank loan, by all means, right? But that takes usually at least 60 days to get. There's all sorts of requirements. You got to put collateral down. This is purely based off of your collections, and that could be credit card or even offices that are heavy insurance. We can look at their bank statements. So we'll collect 3 months of their processing statements, 3 months of their bank statements. And then we have large partners that can provide funding based off of that. So let's say an office needs like an x-ray machine or new equipment, and they need money like in the next 24, 40.
For my family that's listening out there that can't afford the $1 billion mission yet, maybe you should partner up with Fortis so then you can get the $1 billion mission.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Or that. And so it's a way to provide working capital that's, somewhat short term, but very quickly. So, 48 hours, we typically can have approvals and money in the doctor's bank account. So it's a really cool option for offices that don't want to have to wait 60, 90, 120 days, or, they don't have the collateral to put up, or all those different situations that they run into. We have an additional option for offices.
Well, we'll dive deeper into that Wednesday. I want to thank you again for this week. Thank Fortis for helping us out, being supportive of our mission, and we want to reciprocate back. If you guys are interested, which you should be, in more than just a credit card processor, trust me, you're going to save money. But if you want a tool, a platform, a software, and wonderful customer support, check out chiropractor.fortispayments.com. That's chiropractor.fortispayments.com today. Connect with our team over there at Fortis. My man, thank you so much for helping out this week.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Look forward to